with blocks. I still do. I have a lot of construction sets and toys around the house. Some of them are for my kids, but frankly, a lot of them are for me. So maybe you play with Legos or maybe you build with wooden blocks. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's see. The session is being, a couple notes before we go. The session is being recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can mute yourself and stop your video. Anyway, during the session, you'll be on mute. There'll be times when I call on people. If you want to be called on, you can raise your hand. There's a button at the bottom to do that. You can also type in chat. That's a great way to participate. In fact, why don't you all go ahead and type in chat where you're from, where you're logging in from. It's always a good. So let's see where we have North Virginia, Durham, North Carolina, San Diego, Texas, Santa Clara, San Diego. Great, all over the country. Milpitas, Laguna Beach, Wisconsin, San Diego. Well, welcome all. This week is also Global Math Week, and there's a lot of different math events going on this week. I can tell you more about that at the end. Okay, and if parents, if there are any parents in the room, if you can, please stay around. And we do make our sessions, the materials available later. Somebody asked if they could get notes from previous sessions. Yes, we'll be sending those out. Okay, let's get started. For this session, you will need paper and pen, and it would be best if you use a marker, because it'll show up better when you show things on the screen or to the camera. So if you have like a Sharpie, that's ideal. Other sorts of felt tip markers are great, or just pens in general. Let's see. You also need 5 squares that are all the same size. It can be any size square. I looked around my house and I found Scrabble tiles. Those work real well. I'm going to be using some squares. These are nice and black from the game of Quirkle, which is a great game. If you have office supplies, I found that Post-it notes work great. I happen to have 5 Post-it pads here. These work great as squares. Anything you have. Now, if you don't have squares, the simplest thing is you can just use sheets of paper. They don't have to be square. They can be rectangular. That's okay. And if you don't have those, you can use rocks, you can use beans, you can use pennies. It's better if they're square, but you can use just about anything. I'm giving you a moment to go get stuff and bring it back here. And in a moment, I'm going to ask everybody to show me what you got for your squares. What about drawing on grid paper? Yes, you can absolutely draw on grid paper. That works fine. I like using actual squares because it makes it easier for me to rearrange things, but drawing is just fine. Wait, we can turn on our video later on when I'll give you a chance to turn on your video, but not right now. Yeah, don't unmute or turn on your video yet. Later on, we'll ask you to raise your hand. Okay, so speaking of raise your hand, if you have 5 squares, please raise your hand by clicking the raise your hand button at the bottom. And Spencer, please call on somebody who has, if you have 5 squares, please raise your hand. And Spencer, please call on someone. Let's see what you got.
So slightly different. I'm going to be promoting you to panelists. This way you're going to be able to share your video as well. So I just called on someone. You should be able to share your video now.
Okay. And you share your video at the bottom of the screen. Okay, we're taking a moment to find somebody.
Ada, you should be able to share your screen or share your video now by using the bottom left button. Oh, there you go.
And unmute too. So Spencer, can you unmute her? Yeah, there we go. Hey, hi.
Hi.
What sort of squares did you find?
We have here. Yeah.
Oh, same as me. Yeah, Quirkle tiles. Got 5 of them?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else want to share what sort of squares they got?
Okay, I'm going to call on Caleb. All right. I believe Caleb should be able to promote themselves. Yes. Oh, I actually clicked on hold and accidentally.
Oh, I should, Spencer, I forgot to start recording. We should do
Oh,
that.
I hit record, Scott. We're fine.
Okay, great. Okay.
Let me see. Let's see. Holden, do you want to share? Looks like Caleb put their hand down.
Yep, we want to share.
Okay.
So we have Apple Letters, which is a game that we got and we actually really never used. So we're using these tiles.
It's basically bananagrams but with letters, I think.
Yeah, they basically have a whole series for some reason.
Okay, awesome. Okay, if you don't have tiles, you can just draw on paper. So, or use just about any small object. Okay, so let's get, now that you've got your items, we're gonna play a game. This game is called Can You Make It? So I'm going to show you a shape I'm gonna make it real fast. So you're gonna have to pay attention, and it's not gonna be quite enough time, but that makes it challenging. Remember the shape and then make it using your 5 squares. So, okay, ready for the first shape? Get your 5 squares ready. Here's the first shape. Okay, now try making it. See if you can remember it. You'll get it, I'll show them to you at the end. Okay, now the second shape. Here we go. Okay, now see if you can make it. I didn't show it to you for very long. This shape does use all 5 squares. Okay, here's shape number 3. Ready or not, here it comes. See if you can make that shape. I'll make it 2. And then I see some people saying done. Okay, now for the last shape, here it comes. See if you can make that shape using all 5 of your squares. Yeah, if you want to type done when you're done, you can certainly do that. I see a bunch of dones. Okay, let's see how you did. Here's all 5 shapes we just made. You can check to see if you were able to remember it. Here's a question. Which shape was hardest to remember and how did you remember it? Did you use any tricks to remember these things? Please raise your hand and we'll call on a couple people.
All right, so I'm going to call on Pallavi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, the hardest one out of all of them was the third one.
Yeah.
But I still got it. How I remembered it was I remember that the bottom was always 3 because when I messed around with my tiles, I found that this about the same length. It was like the same length as the bottom part of
I see.
3. And then I saw that the corners were touching at the top. And I also saw that the part where it goes like an L shape,
Uh-huh.
that reminded me that it goes diagonal to the left and go in.
Nice. That's a very complete answer. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, so one other person? Anybody else want to explain how they remembered the shapes?
Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call on AJ.
Hi, AJ.
Hi. The last one, I couldn't even remember it.
Aha. If you were to try to remember the shape now, how would you remember it?
I don't exactly. I've been staring at it longer, so now I figured out how to remember it.
Yeah. How would you describe it now?
Like describe the shape.
Yeah.
Kind of like an upside down Minecraft stair, and then 2 blocks connecting to it.
Nice. Yeah, one way to remember a shape is to relate it to something you've already seen. Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to the next game. So we're going to put one of the blocks to the side and just use 4 blocks. How many different shapes can you make by joining 4 squares along whole edges? So we're not going to join them at corners. I just showed you some shapes that join at corners, but we're only going to join along whole edges. If you have 4 blocks, what are all the different shapes you can make? You can make them with your blocks and then try drawing them. Draw them on the paper and see how many different shapes you can make. There will be some questions about which shapes count as the same. So you make a decision about which ones will count as the same, and we'll talk about it when we share our answers. When you think you have them all, you can type how many you got in the chat. How many shapes can you make with 4 squares? I've shown you 2 of the shapes, the L shape, which was in the 3rd pattern I think I showed you, and another one which kind of looks like the letter S. So those are 2 of them. And then if you have an answer, go ahead and check and make sure you got them all. Jed and Alex report that they got 5. Looks like 5 is what most people are getting. Okay, so yes, and we also have the answer 7 from Andrew and Win. Both answers are correct. It depends on how you count them. Okay, let's see. I'd like somebody who got 7 to show us what you got. Please raise your hand, and Spencer, please call on them.
Okay, let's see what the first hand I see up is. Okay, I'm going to call Arjun. Oh, and I actually will promote you to panelist. That way you can share your camera so you can show us.
If you can show us your drawing, please do. If you don't want to share, you can just describe the shapes.
Well, basically, I have Lego bricks.
Uh-huh.
So I put 2 Lego bricks at the top. And then the last one, I connected it to 2 Lego bricks going down, and I got a 7.
Okay, cool. Did you draw your answers or just do it with Legos?
Oh, I just did it with Legos.
Okay, did anybody draw their answers? I'd love to see what these look like.
All right, so I believe I'm going to call on, well, let's see, Jed's been raising their hand, so I think I'm going to give them a chance.
Okay.
All right, Jed should be promoted to panelist now. Ooh, unless I missed. Sorry, if somebody pops up right before I accidentally move somebody. Okay, Jed, you should be able to turn on your video now.
Yeah, and unmute. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I got 5 because, well, I assume that if you can reflect an image, or if you can like reflect it, or if you can turn it, or if you can rotate it, like any of those, then it's pretty much the same thing. So I just got like 5. One of them was like a cross, and one was like a straight 4 in a row, and then, well, there's other ones too, but I just like if you can rotate or reflect them, then you don't get as many. So that's why it's only 5 and not like more or 7.
Cool. Thanks, Jed. And I'll show you what Jed's talking about. Here's 2 different shapes. This one looks like an L, and this one looks like, well, I don't know, a division sign. But if you turn them, now they look the same. And Jed also mentioned that about reflecting. Reflecting is like in a mirror. So if there was a mirror here, this L would turn into this J with the bottom part facing the other direction. So if you count these as different, the answer is 7. And if you count them as the same, the answer is 5. Now, probably some of you have noticed that this may remind you of a video game. Can you type what video game it reminds you of in the chat? Yes, Tetris, that's right. Some of you may have played it. It's, or Minecraft, yes, absolutely. It looks like Minecraft blocks. Well, that's right. In Tetris, in Tetris, you can only rotate shapes. You can't reflect them. So Tetris has 7 different blocks, and every block is made of 4 squares. That's why it's called Tetris. It's from the Greek for the word 4. Sanjana mentions Blockus. That's another game that includes these shapes. Okay, Minecraft and Tetris. Awesome. So yeah, there's Tetris. This is what it looks like. Your job is to, your challenge is to fit the blocks together as they fall, and you can rotate them, but you can't reflect them. So like this orange shape is the letter Z, and there's a green shape here that's the letter S. Those are mirror images of each other, but you can't make one out of the other by just rotating. Here, by the way, is Tetris played on the side of a building. This is at MIT, a college where there are a lot of engineering students who love doing crazy stuff like this. So that the woman in front is actually has a game controller, and she's playing it on the side of the building. Okay, now let's go on to a harder version of this. How many different shapes can you make by joining 5 squares along whole edges? Same problem, but use all 5 of your squares. Go ahead and start doing it. This takes a little while, so see how many you can get. I'll give you a couple minutes. If you can, draw them out, because it's going to be hard to keep track of which ones you have done and which not. You haven't, unless you draw them. There are more shapes than with just 4 squares. I'll be really interested to hear how you keep track of them. See if you can find a systematic way to make them. Maybe some of you have seen them in your classroom. Some classes have plastic versions of these shapes. I've given you 4 of them. Pallavi says, I got 11, including mirrored ones. Yes, so that Pallavi did not count shapes as different if one could be mirror imaged into the other one. See how many you get. Don't worry if it takes you a while. This is not an easy question. And I'll tell you, if you ask your parents or if you ask adults, it's just as hard for them as it is for you. And if you're wondering if there's any secret mathematical formula to figure this out, the answer is no. You just have to figure it out by hand, one at a time. You can, however, write a computer program to figure this out. We have in chat, he says, now I got 7. Alex and Jeanette say 10. Anu says 9. AJ says 8. Fantastic. Andrew says 8. Okay. I know you won't all be done, but let's take a look. Somebody who would like to share their answer, please, and somebody who drew their answer, please raise your hand. And let's take a look. And everybody else, look at their answer and see if you got something that they didn't get.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and call on Havy. Oh, actually, sorry. I need to promote you to panelist.
Okay. What'd you get? Let's take a look. Oh, very nice. You wrote out the mirror image shapes. So we got a straight line. Can you talk about what you found and how you went about it?
I started out with thinking about shapes that had 5 in a row.
Uh-huh.
So then this one was the only one.
Uh-huh.
And then I tried 4 in a row and found all the different ways that I could stick that extra 1 on.
Uh-huh.
And then these are the reflections. So this one is the reflection of this one. And then down here, these are have 3 in a row, and then I found the ways that I could stick 2 on. And then here I found out that this one, you could get this reflection by rotating, so that one I didn't count.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was just trying different, I was trying systematically in order, making the shapes with 5 in a row, then 4 in a row, then 3 in a row, then 2 in a row.
Nice. How many did you get all together?
18.
If you take out the mirror images, how many do you get?
12.
Did anybody nice job. Did anybody else find a shape that's not on this sheet that you don't see here? If you did, you can raise your hand. Or does somebody else just want to show their answer? Yeah. Let's see from one other person. What'd you find and how you did it? Spencer, can you call on someone?
Yeah, I'll call on AJ so you could show us what you mean by the X.
Okay.
I kind of just rotated the plus sign a bit and it made an X.
Nice. Yeah, some of these look like letters. Yep, X is one of the shapes. Anybody else want to show some shapes?
All right, I think I'll call on Ada.
Ida says, I have 11 now. That's really cool. Yeah, you can, whatever answer, you can keep, if you see something that isn't on your page, you can add it. Okay, let's see what you have.
Well, so these are the ones. So the way I did it is like first I have the 5 in a row, like complete. Then the 4 in a row, but like 1 here, and then that I did everything like in the one like putting it down, but these two like so only these two count because these two are the same. Then with 3 and only these two count because that's the same. And then those two also count for 3. And I mean these here also. So those are 11.
Yeah, I like where you the T you crossed out because you already got it in the previous row. When I was counting them I did exactly the same thing. I was adding to the 3 in a row and oops, wait a minute, 2 of them are the same. Thanks for showing me your answer. Okay, we're going to go a little past 2:30 this time because I've got a few more things to show. If you need to leave, I totally understand. We'll send out replays. See, there's a couple more hands raised. I'd like to give at least one more person a chance. Spencer, can you call on someone?
All right, I think Holden's had their hand up for a while, so I'll let them share. And then if we have time, I'll try to get to Sanjana as well, since I don't think I've called it.
This is what my sister did.
Awesome.
Yeah, we really didn't get like that much, but I just left my hand raised so for a while, so sorry.
Yeah,
but
nice.
we did do,
Yeah, nice.
but my sister did like pretty well.
Nice.
I mean, not like better than everybody, but yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
All right, and then I'm going to call on Sanjana now.
Yeah.
So I made one on the top, this one, like a T, then a straight line, like a table.
Nice.
And then over here and here. And then here. And I made this. And then that's all. And then the plus sign.
Nice. I like your description of one of the shapes looking like a table.
Thanks.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again now. I want to tell you a little bit more about these shapes and we'll play one last game. And I know we're going past 2:30, so if you need to leave, that's okay. Okay, so there are 12 altogether. Here are all of them. They're called Pentominoes. Penta means 5, like in the word pentagon. And they're very popular among mathematicians and puzzle people. And it's helpful to give them names. So these are the names that mathematicians use. They're and they named them to look like letters. FILNPTUVWXYZ. The last 7, TUVWXYZ, are alphabetical, which is kind of nice. This shape is probably the hardest one to look like a letter. So looks like an F, but the crossbar is backwards. ILNP. I like to think of the first 5 as spelling the word Filipino. So those are the 12 shapes. The Pentominoes are really one of the coolest puzzles. They're one of my absolute favorite puzzles. And the science fiction author, Arthur C. Clarke, was so impressed by them that he worked them into a novel. In the novel Imperial Earth, it appears in the future, in the year 2027-76. The main character, Duncan, is 10 years old, and his grandma gives him a gift of 5 squares before he goes to Titan. Titan, by the way, is not a planet. It's a moon. I forget. It's a moon of Jupiter or Saturn. One of you probably knows. You can type it in the chat. And he went through the same problem you're finding. He found all 12, and then she told him something really amazing, which is you can take those 12 shapes, the 12 Pentominoes, and fit them together to make a rectangle. I think this is beautiful. You have all these different shapes representing all sorts of variety, and yet you can put them together to make something very simple. I'll show you 2 of them. Now, 12 pieces, 5 squares each. How many squares is that altogether? Type your answer in the chat. 60. And Anjali says, Titan's a moon of Saturn. I think that's right. 60. So it's one of the biggest moons. Maybe it's the biggest moon in the solar system. Now, what sort of size rectangle can you, yes, I'll show them again. What size rectangle can you make with 60 squares? You can type your answer in chat. Let's see, did we stop sharing? Looks like it, okay. Sorry, I will reshare. I just wanted to look at the chat and see what sort of, you can get 3 by 20, 5 by 12. Yes, those are some of the sizes you can make. So here at the bottom, we have a 3 by 20 rectangle. It's made of all 12 Pentominoes. There are only 2 ways to do that one because it's, now you could, the 2 by 30 also makes a rectangle, but you can't make a 2 by 30 rectangle out of Pentominoes. Why? Because some shapes like this X shape are 3 wide no matter how you turn them. So they won't fit in a too high rectangle. But you can make a 4 by 15 rectangle. Now I'm going to play one more game with you all, and we're going to make some other rectangles. Here's a 6 by 10 rectangle, and some of the pieces are already in it, and 5 of the pieces are not. So we're going to finish it by taking these pieces. Oops, sorry, just knocked my computer over, and putting them in place. Now you can't turn them, you can't rotate them. All you can do is slide them into place. Can somebody see where one of the pieces goes? Yeah, we have, Anu gave all the sizes of rectangles, 1 by 60, 2 by 30, 3 by 20, 4 by 15, 5 by 12, and 6 by 10. Yeah, there are a lot of different ways. Who would like to put one of the pieces in this puzzle? They're all going to fit together without overlapping.
All right, I'm going to call on Pallavi.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that the X piece could go in between the W and the F.
Okay.
Oh, wait, which one are we doing?
Yeah, it keeps on switching to the next one. We're going to do this one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the X here, So I'm going to move this. I have to be in editing mode here. So here we go. Here's the X piece. Okay. Now somebody else want to put a piece in?
Let's see. I'll call on Jed.
Put the P to the left of X.
Okay, let's do that.
And then let's see. I haven't actually. I don't think I've called on Audrey today, so I think I'll call on Audrey now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, promote Audrey. Yeah, there you are. Unmute yourself and yeah, there you go.
Y goes right above X.
Cool.
Great. Thank you very much, Audrey. And then I think I haven't called on Alex and Jeanette, so I'm going to call on them.
The L goes to the, oh no, I mean V. It goes to the side.
Okay, where?
Right, the top right.
Like this?
No, I mean the V.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay, the V. That goes on the top right. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Somebody want to finish it?
Okay, I'll call on Arjun. Oh, wait, sorry, I missed. Wait, yeah, there you go, Arjun.
So the L goes right between the V and the Y. Yeah, right there.
Okay. Awesome. We did it. That's all 12 pentominoes. And by the way, there's about 1,000 different ways to solve this puzzle. But it's pretty hard. If you make the shapes, you can try it yourself. We're going to skip the next puzzle, unfortunately, because we're almost out of time. It's almost 2:45, and I want to show you a few more things. So, but if you like playing with pentominoes, I certainly enjoy it. I'll show you some games you can play. Let's see. Hey, back. I've got so many things on my screen, it's hard to, I want to get back to presenting. Okay, so you can make your own pentominoes. Of course, you can cut them out of cardboard. If you Google pentominoes on the web, you'll find there are lots of sites where you can get an image of what pentominoes look like. You can print it out and cut them out of cardboard. You could, but I found another this is a really cool way. You can make them out of melty beads. This makes really nice pentominoes. So each square here is made out of 4 beads. So this, each shape has 4 times 5, 20 beads altogether. Great way to make your own set of pentominoes. Of course, you can buy them, but it's really satisfying to make your own. Somebody mentioned the game of Blockus. Blockus includes all the pentomino shapes. It also includes the tetrominoes, made of 4 squares, the trominoes, made of 3 squares, the domino, made of 2 squares, and the monomino, made out of 1 square. And if you play Blockus, you know that's a very special piece. Catamino is, it's just pentominoes, just as a new different name. And it's a set of pentominoes with a lot of different puzzles you can play. It's a lot of fun. For those who want to take on more challenges, these are some of the things I worked out myself because I got really carried away. How many shapes can you make with 6 triangles? And I mean equilateral triangles. Though isosceles right triangles are also a lot of fun. How many shapes can you make out of 6 squares instead of 5 squares? It's going to be more than 12. It's pretty tricky to find it, but it's a lot of fun. And how many shapes can you make with 5 cubes? Now this is a little different because you can suddenly go into the third dimension. Actually, I would suggest that you start with finding all the shapes you can make with 4 cubes. That one's a little easier, but it's still tricky. Okay, so you can take it further. That's it for today. Next Monday, we'll be doing, Spencer will be doing this, no, I guess it's Javier will be doing Wolves and Sheep. I don't know, one of you will be. And then on the 26th, we'll do digital sums. Oh, Javier is going to do it. Yes. There's Javier. Awesome. So come back next Monday. We'll be doing more math games.
Sorry, there's just a question in chat. Do you mind recommending or saying the name of the book you recommended?
Let's see which. Oh yes, Imperial Earth by Arthur C. Clarke is the novel, and it has it's a pretty extended section on Pentominoes. By the way, if you've ever seen the movie 2001, that was also written by Arthur C. Clarke. He almost put the game of Pentominoes in that movie, but they decided people didn't know that game so well, so they put in chess. They did film the sequence, but they took it out. Any other questions before we go? I'll send some follow-up emails with other references to like where you can get some of these games. Okay, thank you all. Thanks for coming to Math Monday, and we'll see you next week. There's Javier saying goodbye too. Yes, thanks all. Hope you enjoyed it.